Good morning, everyone. Just a few more minutes of patience. We're letting people come in. All my speakers are here. They're patiently waiting for a couple of more minutes so that as many of you have an opportunity to log in and just deal with the last minute issues with password resets, completion of profiles, etc., etc. So give us one more minute and we'll start. Thank you. Stay on the line. All right, here we are. 1,400 of you are piling up. I'd like to welcome all the speakers back into the room so we can start our session together today. Good morning, everyone. Can you just say a quick hello to see if everything works properly?
Good morning, everybody.
Olivier.
Good morning.
Good morning, Philippe.
Good morning. Good morning.
Perfect. It works.
Hello.
Wonderful. What an hosting affair. 7,500 of you have joined us today from all over Europe. It's an amazing day, an amazing turnout. Hey, here comes Stain, the last of our speakers. This is how it's going to work today, okay? You're going to have a whole day of event. There's so many organizations, we had to structure it slightly differently today. And all our wonderful speakers today open up the cluster one. We got 50 minutes together. We're going to try and be as efficient as possible. We're going to let everybody answer questions. Unfortunately, this time, with this amount of people, having a chat was not a workable option. You'd all be posting questions and we'd all be streaming them in, and we would not be able to catch them. To give you an indication, there's 1,650 of you already here, so you coming in. So what we're going to do is we're going to rejig this and actually let every one of our speakers introduce themselves in 2 minutes. And master of ceremony here, guys, we got 50 minutes. We need to be on the dot. And we're going to be asking a range of questions that will be structured around 3 points. The first one will be about finding jobs in their organizations. The second one is about applying to the jobs. And the third one is what happens when you get the job. It's a very quick overview, but this is the purpose of the live stream. It's a one-way communication from us to you. It opens up questions. It makes you think. Once we finish, you will see on that corner of the screen a little arrow next to Livestream Cluster 1. Depending on how your camera is set, it may be on that side of your screen, but for me, it's on this side. Don't be confused. It's relatively simple. You will go back to the main lobby, and then you'll have booths for every single organization attending. The program is so that in every hour, a new cluster starts, but the one before may still be active. Don't leave at the end of the hour. We're all going to be here as long as possible. The event lasts from now till 4 o'clock. I anticipate that we'll be stretching it a little bit. So again, if you can't be now, come back later. But remember, your cluster and your specialty is where you need to be. From that point onwards, it's where you start. I'm recording this session so that afterwards we can pull a few notes and share key points with all of you. Without further ado, given that we already started a few minutes late, I'm going to now keep quiet. Olivier speak, the newly appointed director of EPSO, who's going to just welcome you all and provide a few words. From that point onwards, Kun will take over, also working at EPSO, and we'll start the session. I will be fending off questions and they'll be answering them. Welcome all 1,750 of you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, all. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you today. to this very large event. Already more than 1,800 people connected, around 7,000 expected in the course of the day. So it's a very nice example of a collective effort and cross-European cooperation, trying to organize a large-scale event today as this EU Carriers Fair. I wish to thank our partner, Global Carrier, who have assisted us in organizing this large-scale event, and Fernando in particular, who has just opened the session. I'm Olivier Sales. I'm the new director of EPSO, the European Personnel Selection Office. So in two words, we are trying to coordinate the competition for most institutions in order to find the most suitable candidates across the 27 member states to work in the European project. Working in the European project means contributing to the challenges Europe has to face, and they are numerous lately, being it defense and security, climate change, migration, growth, artificial intelligence, digitalization, unemployment, and so on. So in order to address all those large challenges, we are trying to recruit the people with the right skills of the right set of skills and competence, which can be quite diverse. It's not true that the institutions are recruiting mostly lawyers, linguists, or economists. In reality, the EU institutions and the EU project needs to attract a wide range of profiles. So if you have studied many other things, even some fairly specific studies in sciences, or even as psychologist, nurse, you can have a chance to apply and to be enrolled in the EU institutions. So in a way, EPSO is the most visible gateway or entry point to the EU carriers, but there are also other institutions who are organizing their own competition, and you will hear a bit more about that in the course of the day. In trying to attract and recruit people, we strive to try to be efficient in delivering a positive and respectful testing experience. There have been a few accidents in the past, but we are trying to improve. We are trying to provide clear updates and timely communication about the open competitions, and also to maintain a full flow of information and a transparency on how those competition and selections are made. That's a bit the few highlights and missions of EPSO I wanted to mention. It's time to conclude. I don't want to go too long, Fernando. So again, your presence here today probably shows that you are willing to contribute to the EU project, because you share their values, democracy, cooperation, inclusion. So I hope that you will have a fruitful day with new ideas, fresh inspiration. And I leave it here. Enjoy this fair. Thanks you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Olivier. Wonderful to have those words from you. Yes, we're all for the European construction. About 25 years ago, I managed to secure the first ever online pan-European job board campaign for the European Union. So I guess I'm kind of used to doing things for the first time. Right. I know many of you are wondering why they can't pose the questions. You will have an opportunity to ask them. Once you leave this live stream session, you will have coffee corners where you can network and ask these participating organizations for all the questions you always wanted to know. And then you will have the opportunity of having one-to-one conversations with representatives as well. So group sessions, one-to-one. Keep your questions for later. Without further ado, I'd like to move to the first part. And I'm going to let Koen kick off this section by introducing himself. And then each one of the participants will do the same in a few words as each one of them picks up a question. Koen?
All right, thanks a lot, Fernando, and good morning, everybody, to this great event today, hosted by Global Careers and organized by EPSO. And by now you must know what EPSO is. EPSO is the European Personnel Selection Office. And as Olivier stated so rightly, we are indeed the gateway to a career within the EU or within the EU life, if you like. So we are a number of EU institutions and agencies where you can work, and EPSO organizes selection procedures to select staff to work in these institutions and agencies. So if you look for a career within any of these bodies, EPSO is really the starting point. We organize what we call competitions, another word for selection procedures, competitions to select permanent staff, which means you would have a job for life within the EU institutions. And while having this job for life, you could do various roles. There is an internal job mobility scheme, so you could do various things within these different institutions and agencies. And we also select non-permanent staff, which we call contract agents. You can find out more about that on the EPSO website, of course. And those contract staff work also in agencies and institutions. I leave it for this and hand over the floor to the next speaker, Fernando, who would be for you to choose.
Right. Weaving on your point, who wants to pick up on the selection process, the type of roles that you offer within your institution? By answering it, just raise your hand, I'll give you the floor, introduce yourself briefly, a few words about the organization, and describe what it is that you have on offer in broad terms. Who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go.
Edith, you go first.
Great, thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here and speak to such a large audience. So my name is Edith Cruz and I represent the HR of European Economic and Social Committee. About the profiles. So us being a small organization and serving kind of a bridge between civil society, meaning different groups like employers, workers, and also civil society organizations. We are assisting our members from the member state, and that means that we look for a variety of profiles. Policy officers in different fields, and not only. We are looking also for IT people. We are looking for conference technicians from time to time. We are also looking for people with financial profiles who can deal with our not only payroll, but I would say also the everything that is required under financial regulation. So all kinds of profiles. And we also are quite active in offering short-term jobs. So, but I will be available for more information in coffee corners after this.
Thank you, Edith. So, long-term, short-term contracts. Who wants to talk about their organization and what they're offering? Francois, why don't you go next?
Yes, good morning, colleagues, and many thanks for the invitation. I think it might make sense to come after Edith. Many of you hear about the big three, the European Commission, the Parliament, and the Council, but they are indeed two consultative bodies in Brussels as well, the European Economic and Social Committee and the European Committee of the Regions. Who are we? Help shape the laws that shape your life, because you might probably know that over 70% of EU legislation is then implemented at the region and local level. In Europe, there is over 1.2 million of locally and regionally elected representatives, mayors, councillors, regional presidents, etc. They're elected, they're grounded, and they bring real-world democratic legitimacy to the EU process. We are a political assembly based in Brussels, as I've said already. We have 329 full members and as many alternates, and we give a formal opinion on draft EU legislation. So we are really the ones getting closer to the citizens. We have 6 political groups. Usually we are less than 600 staff members, but we have most of our staff members are officials, but we have temporary staff in the political groups with open-ended contracts. We have also temporary agents within the General Secretariat, where you can work as policy officer, organizing plenaries, bureau meetings, working on policy matters. We have 6 different thematic commissions going from natural resources, education. There are many, many aspects, external relations. You can have a look at our website. You will discover all the details. Working in communication, which is an important part of our work because we need to be known and have outreach as well. And I'm very thankful that after the administration, also HR, finances experts, we have also the opportunity to share 3 directorates with the Economic and Social Committee to have the critical mass. And we share translation, we share IT services, and we share everything related to buildings and logistics. So these might be also opportunities for the candidates who might have technical profiles to join us, and we would be more than happy that you would join a small organization, and I can give you more details why it may our bodies as such. Many thanks for your attention. And if you would like to know more about our current working opportunities, just scan me and you can go and look directly to our current openings, and maybe that might lead to your future career. Thank you.
Francois, something tells me you've done this before. So you'll need to get the scan closer to the screen at some stage. But there we go. You know what, guys, this is what this event is all about today. It's about good humor. It's about helping you find your path. It's about discovery. So organizations of the European Union, whether they be big or large, it doesn't matter. They all offer something which may be exactly what you're looking for. So we now talked about the 2 consultative bodies. Milena, Stein, who wants to go next, offering a different perspective about what you offer? I want to hand up. Who goes first? My God, both of them are shy. I'm going to nominate a volunteer. Milena, it's you.
Thank you. Yes. Hello, everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here today. And thank you for this opportunity. So I am Milena Dobrota. I work for the HR Directorate in the Council of the European Union. So as my colleagues already said, we are one of the big, so-called big institutions. However, we are the smallest of the 3 big institutions, but it's the one where the action happens. So the Council is the place where the EU leaders and the world leaders meet and come together for high political events. We are smaller. What does this mean? This means that we have fewer layers of management than other big institutions. You get to be closer in this way to the decision makers. Your work becomes more meaningful and definitely more visible. And I think you have definitely more autonomy in this way. So it's rather intimate environment, and I really appreciate this human touch in everything we do, because everything is just far away as your next colleague to whom you can really easily reach through your phone. So as far as contracts are regarded, like other of the speakers said already, we have permanent staff and we have non-permanent staff on temporary contracts, so short-term contracts. Some of them, so permanent one, go through rather EPSO, but also we do, once you are on temporary contract, we also organize internal competitions, which means that you can become an official through these competitions as well. So apart from that, we organize career days every year, and there you can find out more about everything. However, what I would invite you to do is also to follow our LinkedIn page of the council, so jobs in the council, where you can find more information in the meantime. So from one career day to the other, you can follow us, and then there is plenty of material there where colleagues talk both about profiles we hire and also about how to get about getting a job with us. And as far as the profiles are regarded, it is policy, as my colleagues said, but not only. Apart from policy, lawyers and linguists, there is IT. There are actually 2 kind of separations into generalist and specialized profiles. And if you are a generalist, like me, for example, you can get in with any degree that you have. And with that, I'll just do another invitation for a career day on September 25th this year. And as I said, LinkedIn pages for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Milena. That's a great plug-in into the career fair within the career fair. Love it. Stein, I think I'm going to ask you now to do the same. Answer the question about the organization and where do you see yourself, the kind of careers you offer. And rolling now into my big first question is, how do people find out about what you're advertising in terms of jobs? Where do they need to go? I'm going to go around and ask every one of you to just comment quickly. We know Milena has the LinkedIn page. I know there's other sources, so I want you to remind them where they can find the jobs, because you will all then be able to ask the same question in the coffee corners and in the chat booth. Remember, we reach 2,300 people right now live on the stream, so there's a lot of you right now. So remember, no pressure. Every move you make, they'll be looking at you, Stein.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Definitely not feeling any pressure right now. So good morning, everybody. My name is Stein and I work for the European Parliament's HR services. So very happy to be here today and seeing that number of viewers go ever higher. So, I mean, we are one of the largest EU institutions, the second largest in terms of employees after the Commission. And what makes the European Parliament a really unique place of work is that we are the only directly elected European institution, the House of Democracy. That's also why our slogan as an employer is help make European democracy happen. Because, you know, by working for the European Parliament, you directly contribute to European democracy. So at Parliament, we have, of course, the 720 elected members, and each of those members have assistants, so people who help them with their legislative work. That's what we call the political side of the Parliament, so the members and the political groups. But then we also have the Secretariat of the European Parliament. So myself and 8,000 other colleagues, we work for the Secretariat of the European Parliament. So these are all the people who work behind the scenes to support the Parliament, to make the Parliament happen. And in this side of Parliament, we are a very broad employer. So it is possible to work on internal, external policy to support committees and delegations of the Parliament. But it goes way broader than that. We are also a very large translation and interpretation employer. Because so the Parliament doesn't have any specific working languages, contrary to the Commission, but we operate in the 24 official EU languages. So that's to say that we have quite a lot of professionals on translation, interpretation, but we are also a very interesting employer when it comes to finance, to IT. These are roles that we are always looking for further. We always say, if you can think about it, there will be roles at Parliament where your background and expertise will be appreciated. For instance, we also have our own European Parliament Research Service, you know, our internal think tank, which produces research for our members of the European Parliament to use. So people with all kinds of specific expertises work there. We have statisticians, drivers, nurses, doctors, people who work on logistics. So it goes very broad. You know, this is also why we say no matter what your background is, you can apply at Parliament and help make European democracy happen. So how to go into your question, Fernando, how can people find out about our vacancies and job opportunities? So the first thing that I would advise is just to Google "Work with Us European Parliament." Then you will end at our "Work with Us" page. We will share these later as well in the coffee corner and the chat booth. So where we explain why the European Parliament and how to apply. So for most of our HR needs, we go through EPSO, the European Personal Selection Office, but we also organize selection procedures and competitions by Parliament for Parliament, specifically focused on Parliament's more unique HR needs. And these go through what we call Apply for EP. So if you go to applyforep.justmax.eu, you will see specific applications, just job opportunities that you can apply to. So for the moment, we have ICT offices and ICT experts that we are looking for, as well as proofreaders, editors in different languages. If you don't see something on EPSO or apply for EP which fits your specific profile, you can also submit a spontaneous application on apply for EP. Also interesting to note is that we use LinkedIn more and more. So if you go to LinkedIn European Parliament and then you go to jobs, you will see specific jobs which are open for application right now. And so like the other EU institutions, we offer both permanent roles as well as contract staff, temporary staff. And what we are also increasingly doing is publishing specific contract agent or temporary agent positions on LinkedIn. So if you go to LinkedIn European Parliament, there might be, you know, depending on the time of the year, there can be specific job opportunities there. And often we keep this open for like a week, 2 weeks until we have gathered enough CVs. So it is, I think, quite a good piece of advice to follow us on LinkedIn and to enable notifications by hitting the bell mark, so you don't miss out on any opportunities to come join the Parliament. So I hope that answers your question, Fernando. Thank you very much.
It does. It's surprising, I think, to myself and probably to some of the audience to see such spirited way of recruitment, sort of cutting edge. You know, publishing on LinkedIn, receiving applications, spontaneous applications. Let's move to the nitty-gritty of that application process. Can I have a quick show of hands? Anticipation of recruitment volumes. What do you think is going to be the likely number of vacancies you're going to have next year? Stijn, just give me a number, bro. Know that.
That would be quite hard to predict, because I mean, our services always you know, play into current and upcoming needs. So I mean, I would say certainly after the last election cycle of Parliament last summer, we have shifted around a lot of priorities in the House. So for instance, I mean, our policy-oriented departments have branded out, split into more different departments. So I think there would be some roles there. Also, then for instance, if you have specific linguistic knowledge, certainly towards the more hard to reach languages, like I would say Irish, Maltese, the Baltic states, we are hiring in that. Then IT is a very big growth area for us. So we are continuously hiring people for IT roles, and this is cybersecurity, cyber defense, IT development, IT management at Parliament. So it's quite hard to give you an exact number, but certainly, you know, in autumn, winter next year, we will have opportunities.
Okay, that's wonderful. Can I get the perspective from EPSO here? You know, what are the, you know, is there any way of anticipating volumes? Where does it get advertised? How do people keep track of what's going on?
Sure, that's a good question, and quite an easy to answer. If you see my name here, it says Koen EU Careers. Well, if you follow EU Careers on any social media, be it LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, we will keep you updated on every single competition that we offer. And we offer competitions year-round in various profiles. We have specific competitions for which you need a degree in a specific profile, and for which you need a couple of years of experience in that field. And we also have competitions for young graduates where you just need a bachelor's degree, a university bachelor's degree, without any professional experience on top. So to give you two examples, next week, actually, we will publish a competition in the field of communication. We're looking for webmasters, we're looking for graphic designers, and we're looking for social media managers. About 150 successful candidates for each of these three profiles. So this gives you already a number of about 450, which we will start selecting as of next week. And then after the summer, we will publish a big generalist competition. Why do we call it generalist? Because everybody with just a bachelor's degree, any field, can apply to this opportunity. We will publish it after the summer, and there we will select more than 1,000, probably even a bit more, of successful candidates to be recruited the year after. So these are quite big numbers. And of course, these people will all be, or the successful people at least, will all be offered jobs in the different institutions that are present here today. be it institutions or agencies where these people work. So if you follow eCareers, you can not miss out on any opportunity. You can also subscribe on a notification on our website, which is EU Careers as well. I mean, you can easily Google it. You subscribe to the notification, and then again, you stay up to date on every opportunity that we offer in terms of competitions. We also, as I said earlier on, have contractual positions on offer. We call them contract agent positions. And you find a list of about 20 different profiles on offer permanently on our website. So you can register anytime to one or more of these profiles, depending on your degree and professional experience, of course. Fernando?
So there's something for everyone. I almost feel compelled to ask our friends in the consultative committees in the bodies to come up as well, because I know they will be active this year. So can you give us a broad idea of what we can expect? Who wants to go first? I think Philippe is waving his hand. So
I just wanted to convey many thanks. It's maybe a good opportunity as well. So it's quite difficult. HR is not exact science. So the only thing we can maybe agree all that we know when colleagues will retire, and we have the successive enlargements. So we know that colleagues from Dutch, from the Nordic countries, etc., with the successive weights might come to the retirement age. And we are now looking also for financial experts, for colleagues in IT. We will have some colleagues in the linguistic services in the upcoming year or two. So these are profiles which might be valuable both on the permanent basis, but also as contract agents or temporary staff members. We no longer organize now. We don't have a database for spontaneous applications anymore. So if you would be interested in a position, you should know that since we are smaller, we can afford advertising everything on our website. So both permanent positions, you can find them on our website, which is accessible to all candidates, laureates, to everybody from around the world. And even for non-permanent selection procedures, we organize call for interest that you can find again on our website if you scan me, but also on EPSO web pages, on our social media, on our LinkedIn account. And then you really apply for a specific position. For temporary agent positions, usually there is just a diploma and an experience, which is required as a prerequisite. But for contract agent positions, you need to undergo first the selections that colleagues from EPSO already referred to, that you have to undergo the tests which are mandatory first before being invited for an interview or a test. So these are maybe the information that I can share. We also have national expert positions and trainees. There are 2 rounds of traineeship per year, one in spring, one in autumn. So if you would like to know more, again, you have the general web pages by EPSO, but for each institution, I think that there are also relevant information on our different websites. So I stop here, and maybe I will give the floor to Edith to complement from the ESC position.
Indeed, I can only compliment because most of the things that said are also valid for our institution. And actually, the situation is also very much like that. So indeed, it's very difficult to foresee exact number of vacancies that we will have, but for us, it is also, let's say, a point in time when our workforce starts to go more and more on retirement. So we can foresee increase in publications, whereas a publication of temporary jobs or contract positions are also difficult to foresee, because those are typically for replacements or for let's say, punctual support. Therefore, I would also highly advise to follow very closely our jobs pages on our general website, which is available to anyone. So it's ESC, just find the place that is dedicated to jobs. But also on our LinkedIn profile, but not the profile ESC as such, but ESC jobs. So you are welcome to find more information there, and also join our coffee corner and chat booth, where we can provide more information for that later in the day. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Go coffee corners, go chat booths. This is a good message, you know. Go there with curiosity, live informed. You've seen that strapline in all social media posts we've been doing. We've been inundating the web. Curiosity will get you a lot of places. We got 12 minutes left. And so I'd like to shift the debate before we break from this session. And I like, in your experience, I know the process is different for all of you, but why don't we start telling a few tips to our audience, what makes a good candidate and what makes a really bad application or applicant? Do you have any pearls of wisdom to our audience? By the way, we just reached, let me see, 2,500 people connected. So it keeps on going up. So we are online with predictions. Who wants to give me a good application, something good to do and something bad to avoid? Here we go. Edith wants to go first. There we go. And then Milena, feel free to wave your hand. I don't interrupt you.
Just in a few words, bad application, make sure that you address the right institution. Even if you apply for, I don't know, several and send your CVs to all over the world, please make sure that you send the right one to the right institution, because it creates kind of a very bad impression if it's mixed up. Prepare, put in your motivation letter, not only, okay, it's the logical step of my further career, but also how it's to the mission of the institution. Take time to reflect on that. And also reflect on the impact you could provide to the goals of the institution, no matter in which role, because in each role, obviously, you can do something. That's my advice.
Fantastic. Do I paraphrase Kennedy saying, ask yourself not what the organization can give you, but ask yourself what you can give to the organization? There we go. Guys, it's not about what they can give you. You're selling yourself. Remember that when you're having these conversations. Milena, would you like to contribute to this particular good bad applicant tips?
Yeah, and I know it can be sometimes what we get from candidates is that they say it's not always easy to sell myself, because we don't sometimes think in those terms. But indeed, when you see the vacancy notice, just read through the job description and what we are searching for. And then do say what is your motivation and make it specific to the role you're applying for. So it will not be the same if you're applying for one role or the other. And one thing that in the council we usually encourage is also to contact the contact person that is on the vacancy notice. So sometimes it's a manager, sometimes it is a colleague you will be working on if you get the job. So please do contact them so that you can see whether you're a good fit. So it's all about preparation, as my colleagues already mentioned, and just thinking about also the match. So not only what you can bring or what this post can bring to you, but also where is the match between you and the post and the council in this case.
Olivier? Sorry, François.
Yes, maybe allow me to add something else. For the big or mid-sized organization, sometimes the difficulty is to identify the profile of the candidates who might be a bit different or atypical. Sometimes the type of studies, the type of path are a bit similar. So my suggestion would be to tell candidates, say also something about yourself. Something about your personality, about your hobbies. If you have been doing some arts, culture, paintings, sport at high level, hiking, climbing mountains, that's interesting also for us. It gives also some kind of extra information about your skills, personal skills, personalities, interest, passion. So voilà, add also something about yourself in your CVs and motivation letters maybe. Thanks.
Thank you, Olivier. François.
Yes, I also wanted to say that we take your applications and your interests very seriously, and looking for a job is also a serious business. So it's also start by reading properly the vacancy notices and the requirements. Sometimes we have candidates who believe that it will work, that they will apply for something that they are not even eligible for. So if you see that there is a vacancy for a permanent position for officials or laureates of competitions, if you just started your cast selections and you do not have a competition for officials, it will not bring you through the process. So it's irrelevant. So don't waste your energy and time trying to apply all azimuts, but really target the vacancies based on what you are eligible for. And as the colleague said, what you can really bring as an added value, even though you are eligible, target really the ones for which you can bring something and might be chosen among the large number of applications that we sometimes receive. It's also a respect of your own career and profile, and also it makes then save some time also for the recruiters, which is also important because it starts also by giving the image that you want to project for the future to the future employer.
Thank you. Koen?
Yes, I'd like to complement to that. Indeed, key is indeed to read what we call the notice of competition carefully. So whenever we publish a competition, you'll find a legal document which we call the notice of competition, and that document holds all information for you to understand the whole selection process. It'll give you all the steps of the process. It'll give you the eligibility criteria. So indeed, read carefully if you match the eligibility criteria, if you have the required languages, and make sure you fit to the competition that you want to apply for. Second, which is important, is preparation. You will go through a set of questions, a set of tests, and we, on the EPSO website, we offer sample tests for many of these tests that you will have to sit. So prepare, because for most competitions, we attract high numbers of candidates. So you really compete with your fellow candidates into the same competition. And that's why preparation is key. Train verbal reasoning, train abstract reasoning, train numerical reasoning, train written tests. By preparing yourself for the test, this will really up your chances of becoming successful. Thank you.
Thank you. We got 4 minutes, so I'm going to stretch it a little bit because we started a little bit later, but I got another session to open up, so it's not like I can stretch it for too long. So here's the last one, what I like to throw in at the end, the AI grenade. Anybody can make an application look good based on the job description, but you can't walk the story that AI writes for you. That's why we've created something called Talent Labs, which helps people understand that AI is a tool, it's not a replacement. Would you have any pearls of wisdom in connection with AI? Can you pick them up really easily? And do you actually feel it helps? And if so, in what respect? Stijn, you raised your hand. This is good. We've got a few more minutes, so I'm going to take 2 more answers and that's it.
Yes, thank you, Fernando. Yeah, no, I was also thinking this, like the last couple of years in HR, we have really seen the impact of generative AI, and that indeed a lot of people also use it, not as a tool, but as they let it to the thinking for them. And if you work as a recruiter at the institutions, you get a lot of applications, and after a while, you start to pick out the telltales. Like there are certain words, certain grammatic ways that AI and specifically ChatGPT will always use. So you can quickly pick them out. So be aware of that. I mean, it's a good tool to use, but don't let it replace your application for you. And also, proofread what it writes for you. Because I mean, we literally sometimes get applications which go, dear insert name recruiter, comma, I would love to work at name of institution. And it's quite obvious to say that you won't make a good impression with that. So use it wisely.
Thank you. Yes, the dear recruiter is a dead giveaway. Anybody else has had some feedback about the use of AI? Does it help? Does it hinder? François?
Yes, I think that it might improve in some cases the quality of the letters that the candidates want to submit, etc. I'm not against that it might be a controversial subject, whether it's still genuine or not. However, I think it's the new technologies bring a totally new schemes of competencies that we will be all looking for in the future. And I would not be afraid of course, considering such candidates. But I think what is also important is your general personality that will be visible during the interviews if you make it through. Also your creativity, your critical spirit. So you can use, of course, all the tools that you have at your disposal, but with common sense, with a sense of ownership and critical spirit, because you will then endorse the responsibility for what you submit and what you stand for. So good, but please with caution and common sense.
Fascinating. Thank you, Francois. I mean, one of the things we do is we actually mimic that journey of the candidates ourselves by offering not coaching services, but service d'accompagnement, basically getting you to the application, getting you to the interview. And it's like what Kuhn said, it's train, rehearse. This is the last word I personally want to contribute to this session, is no one is a perfect person when it comes to an interview. But if you train and rehearse, you will become better. The same way, everybody used to think that Steve Jobs was a magnificent speaker. He spent hours rehearsing those presentations. The same applies to your application. The same applies to the interview. Do you have any good tips? And that will be my very last question. Who has had magnificent interviews? Can you pick up 2 or 3 attributes of a good person at the interview stage? Okay, let's start with the other one. Who has bad attributes that you like to flag? I'm giving you both options. Olivier?
Well, it's a wide question, Fernando. But at the end of the day, I think most of the recruiters will agree with me. One of the critical elements is the personality of the candidate. Of course, the knowledge, the competence are super important, but you often have comparable good candidates with the same level of technical knowledge and capabilities. What could make the difference is the personality. So again, especially at the stage of the interview, try to pass a few messages about yourself, about your enthusiasm, about your personality, about your social capabilities, and communicate a bit of positive vibes and energy that can make the difference at the end of an interview. And with that, I really have to leave you. Have a great day, colleagues. Enjoy it. Take
Thank
care.
you very much, Olivier. Before we close this session, I want to thank everybody and for being here. Sorry about the frustrating bit of not being able to comment, but it would have been a nightmare for everybody. We will address the questions now. I will close with a thank to everybody and reminding everything what Olivier said. There are 2 things you should think as you apply: what you know and who you are. What you know, you can learn. Who you are, you can't, but you can plan. Train, and train. Understand yourself and see what you are offering to these organizations. Thank you so much for being here for the first EU career event. This is kicking off 8 hours of me doing this non-stop. I'm going to be a little tired in the afternoon, but if you join other clusters, you'll see me during the day waving down. Thank you very much to all. See you all.
Thanks, everybody. See you soon in the roots. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Voila, we're offline. Thank you very much to all. Right.